Woke up to the
smoke and stuff that's going on. I can't handle it, so I just stay home.
Puget Sound Clean Air Agency said there are several reasons that our air quality has been impacted the past few days, including the wildfires in Canada, fireworks, and the fire in Mason County.
On the 4th, we had a lot of fireworks, and that put a lot of smoke in the air, more regionally, more locally.
Experts stress the importance of coming up with a plan for when air quality hits these unhealthy levels, especially people who have other health conditions.
It's now been 1 week since 6 inches of rain fell in just 3 hours in rural Maine. Today, crews are still busy repairing all that flooding damage. Mel Myers in the town of Jay, where people are hoping for a disaster declaration.
It was like a river down the road.
Beverly House rushed home from work after hearing about the flash flooding.
It's awful. I never see it that way. Never. All the years I've been here.
The road is closed, with a number of roads still impassable. The Public Works Department says it will take a while to make repairs. Officials are also working with emergency management agencies to quickly collect as much information they can to potentially pursue a disaster declaration. Those damage totals are due Friday. Each county has a different threshold they need to hit. So does the state. In Franklin County, it's $131,000. What will happen to communities if there isn't a disaster declaration?
If a county does not meet its threshold for damage first, those communities that suffered damage will be responsible for the cost of fixing their public infrastructure.
In the meantime, some residents are also wondering just how much they might have to pay to clean up around their home.
It was awful.
Kelvin Smith says he woke up for work last week and realized the floor was soaked.
I ran upstairs and looked, and I saw like the entire place is flooded with water.
He says road crews helped patch up part of it. Now it's up to him to figure out the rest. Smith says his insurance won't cover it. The Maine Emergency Management Agency says that it should know by later this week or early next week if the counties have met their disaster thresholds.
Wisconsin is in quite the weather quandary. Many sun lovers across the area have been enjoying the recent stretch of hot and dry weather at the same time, though others are stressing the need for rain because Wisconsin continues to be in a drought. Lexi Shorter is here with the different points of view.
More than 80% of Wisconsin is considered to be in drought as of Wednesday.
It's been a challenge, of course, with the hot, dry weather.
Mark Peterson, owner of Peterson's Dairy Farm in Appleton, says his crops are currently under stress from the lack of rain.
I think it stunted our growth because it was a little thirsty, and so it's. I think we should see higher corn, taller corn, and farther along than it is right now.
Wednesday morning, the Fox Valley saw some wet weather, cooling down the area for a bit after days of dry heat.
But it's getting into what they call the rapid growth stage right now, so I mean it's definitely salvageable if we would get some good timely rains now.
While rain fell and watered Peterson's crops, it also watered the grass over at Chaska Golf Course in Greenville.
The rough has been pretty brown. It's been pretty dry, obviously.
Brad Reef-Snyder with Chaska Golf Course says although it's been hot and dry, it hasn't been affecting the course physically.
We have an irrigation system, so the tees, fairways, and greens get watered real heavy every night, and they actually hand water some during the mornings, too, before the golfers get on the course.
It's not the end of the world. I mean, it'll work out. It always seems to do. So we'll be okay. The weather forecast sounds pretty optimistic of some wet weather coming.
With extreme heat, drought, and wildfires all taking place right now, you might find it interesting that today the Earth is at its furthest distance from the sun. So how come temperatures are not cooling down? Meteorologist Ryan Mirando explains.
Today is a pretty big day in the astronomical world. It's the day of the Aphelion. And really, to break down what this means, we can break the word apart. Apo means far and Helios means sun. So this is the point of the year where the Earth is farthest away from the sun, and that's because Earth's orbit is not completely circular. It's elliptical as it goes around the sun, so sometimes it's closer and sometimes it's farther away. This time of the year, it is the farthest away, sitting around 94.5 million miles from the sun. At its closest time, really during the winter months, it's around 91.5 million miles. A big difference of around 3 million miles, but on a larger scale, that's only about 3% of the movement. So we don't notice a big difference with that. It peaks today at around 4:06 p.m. And I bet you're wondering, we're in the summer months right now, but the Earth is the farthest away from the sun. Well, how does that make sense? The seasons don't have to do with the distance away from the sun. It has to do with the tilt of the Earth. And right now, the northern hemisphere where we live is tilted towards the sun, and that gives us all the heat.
Well, last month was the hottest June on record. An analysis from the European Union found temperatures were a substantial margin above the record set in 2019. Ocean surface temperatures were also the warmest on record. And now that we're in an El Nino year, more records are likely to fall. They certainly were thinking about heat in Colorado. At one hill, there's still enough snow for die-hard skiers and snowboarders to make a few runs. The lifts here at Copper Mountain closed back in May, so these diehards had to hike back up each time. They say it's one of the best ways for folks in Colorado to enjoy the outdoors. And coming up from the National Weather Desk, we'll look at how first responders deal with emergencies in record-setting heat. And we'll debunk some common myths about sunscreens.
For the first time in what seems like a while, high pressure is in control throughout the Northeast, and we are going to stay mainly dry for your Thursday. However, it's going to be on the hot and hazy, humid side all across New England as we head through the day tomorrow. But notice also the chance for a few pop-up showers and thunderstorms. And notice temperatures, though, going to be on the hot side. We're talking temperatures 93 degrees in Albany, 93 degrees in Syracuse, 86 down towards Boston.
I'm meteorologist Jonathan Myers, and here's a look at the mid-Atlantic region. Up and down the 95 corridor, looks like it starts rain-free, but some isolated to spotty storms in the afternoon. So be aware you may have to have your rain gear handy in case you get hit by one of those. Not everybody gets it. Otherwise, it is going to be a hot and humid day. High temperatures back into the low to mid 90s for a lot of spots. If you get a little bit more rain, may keep you in the muggy upper 80s. That's the scene here.
I'm meteorologist Vitas Reed. Here's a look at your southeast forecast highs for the day. Nashville, about 91 degrees, 90 in Birmingham, 91 in Atlanta, 89 Raleigh, 93 in Jacksonville, a hot one in Tampa, 94 degrees Pensacola, 92 degrees. We'll see sun and clouds throughout much of the day, maybe some coastal showers around the Outer Banks early on. But as we go through the day, plenty of sunshine, but by the afternoon, 2, 3 o'clock around Atlanta, we get some spotty showers through Jacksonville and South Florida, spotty showers and thunderstorms.
Weather Window, presented by the National Weather Desk.
Here's another look at the recent powerful derecho that swept several Midwestern states last week. In central Illinois, some gusts were 90 miles per hour or more. That stormy line also spawned several tornadoes. Meanwhile, in Utah, this scenery around Nebo Loop Road and Payson Lakes is full of lush greenery thanks to record-breaking snowfall and runoff.
For more content like this, follow the National Weather Desk on Instagram.
Heat is increasing the number of calls to emergency services, but even for non-heat related calls like car crashes, the weather is still a major factor. Betty Cross is in Austin, Texas, where emergency responders are taking the weather into account for every single call.
EMS is feeling the heat from Austin's scorching summer temperatures. The number of calls for help keeps going up. and July isn't expected to bring much relief.
We've certainly seen the uptick in the heat-related calls.
Captain Darren Nowak says all those calls take their toll on medics, but the most grueling are emergencies in parks and greenbelts.
Having to hike out in the greenbelt and then, basically carry someone out of that environment.
Despite the heat, EMS knows every second counts in a heat-related emergency. That's because ice baths are one of the fastest ways to reduce the body temperature of someone who's suffering from a potentially life-threatening heat stroke.
We carry additional ice. We carry a fluid-resistant bag that we could put the person in. And we also have the ability to start chilled saline IVs, so we can both replenish that fluid and also start cooling their body temperature down.
When it's sunny and hot outside, there are several options available to protect your skin. So is there a such thing as the best sunscreen? San Antonio meteorologist Joe DiCarlo talks to a dermatologist about the best ways to shield your skin and also debunk some misconceptions.
Sunscreen allows us to block the sun's rays from hitting our skin.
San Antonio dermatologist Dr. Eric Willis stresses using sunscreen as a way to prevent the sun from causing DNA damage that can cause skin cancer or premature aging. Willis suggests higher SPF numbers do protect at a greater rate than lower SPF.
As you go higher in the SPF numbers, you get more percentage of the sun's rays that you're blocking. So we recommend at least 30 SPF for 95% blockage of the sun's rays.
According to the American Cancer Society, about 3.3 million Americans are diagnosed with skin cancer every year. Protecting your skin in the sun can lower your risk of getting the disease. It is also important to keep an eye on the UV index, as any number over a 2 means you should be taking steps to protect your skin if spending long amounts of time outside, no matter what time of the year, even on cloudy days.
The UV rays that we can't see still are hitting your skin.
If you're allergic to certain ingredients in the sunscreen, Dr. Willis suggests clothing that has ultraviolet protective factor within it, or a physical blocking sunscreen that may have less allergic ingredients. But is there really a superior sunscreen brand?
Most sunscreens are created equal. It's just what are you looking for? What formulation do you want it in? The consistency, the color.
Well, several beaches in Washington state have been shut down due to high levels of bacteria in the water. The closures help protect people and pets from getting sick. But where is all this bacteria coming from? Seattle reporter Denise Whitaker went to find out.
There are signs announcing the beach is closed at Lincoln Park in West Seattle, but I still found people in or near the water.
I totally didn't see those signs that were out here.
Jeff Chon and his sons Cash and Clay were beach combing for rocks. Once Chon learned there's a high level of bacteria in the water, he whipped out the hand wipes.
I guess we'll definitely have to be a little more aware of
Daddy, why
bacteria in the water.
From Puget Sound to Lake Washington, the bacteria hiding in the water that occasionally closes our beaches, most likely coming from geese and ducks.
So we ask people to not feed the geese and ducks because more food is more geese is more poop, and that can lead to more beach closures.
Dogs are another common source of poop that carries bacteria along with people.
We all carry little bits of poop on our bodies. Poop can carry many different germs that can make people sick.
Swallowing contaminated water can cause diarrhea or nausea. Wading in it or rubbing the eyes can cause irritation or a skin rash.
Does it really matter what kind of poop it is?
It matters what kind of poop it is, only in that we want less poop. And so finding the problem helps us fix the problem.
Daniel Nitskorsky tells me King County's been working with the city of Kirkland on landscaping to reduce the problem, but he says it will likely never go away entirely. King County takes water samples every single week, and then when it shows a high bacteria level, they close the beach like they did here. Then the sampling continues every day until they get it back to normal. This time it took 6 days, and now Juanita Beach is back open.
Now to the intersection of humans and wildlife. In Columbus, Ohio, an increase in fox sightings is starting to concern some residents. And now they are planning their next steps just in case sick and contagious foxes wander into their property. Lisa Rentalia has more.
Oh my gosh. The foxes and fascination captured on camera just a few weeks ago.
I thought it was cool.
My background is wildlife management, actually.
Soon turned into fear for Deb Fancher at her Northwest Columbus home.
Foxes are kind of scared of people. Oh, yeah. Yeah, normally.
This family of foxes hadn't been spotted since last month. Then last week,
Came on up to the window and scratched at the window like it wanted to get in.
this fox climbed up her back deck, clearly sick and possibly suffering from mange.
Seeing that fox is a nightmare. Did not look good.
It turned away from the home to Deb's husband out back. He was picking berries.
This fox, one, it was suffering.
Oh, yeah.
And two, it was a huge health concern for your dog, yourself, and the whole neighborhood.
Yeah.
That's when Deb opened her back door
And she protects us from any and all wildlife that comes in the yard.
and let her own 11-year-old pup Sadie outside.
But you were a little hero, weren't you, Sadie? You chased off a fox.
She's so protective. She's very protective.
I contacted ODNR about this case. They said a sick fox can be legally removed from a property. That can be done by the landowner or by a nuisance trapper, but the trapper could cost you money. Once trapped, a nuisance fox can then be legally euthanized. And again, that could be done by the landowner. Did you ever think when you were making these calls, the response you would get is you could euthanize it yourself?
No.
So with their background,
This is where you've seen a lot of the foxes.
Yes.
Which is why you wanted to put the trap out here.
Yeah.
Deb and her husband bought a $70 trap, and if they need to, came up with a plan of what they'll do next.
That's a big ask, don't you think?
Yes, a lot of people would not be able to. They would not have the means to. They wouldn't know how to, and they wouldn't want to.
Time now for a short break, but first let's take in views of Bellevue, Washington.
Well, a very good Thursday morning, everyone. I'm meteorologist Andrew Buckmichael. Taking a look at your weather story across the Midwest. We got a lot of sunshine across the plains, but a few showers to the south and also some scattered thunderstorms out across the Ohio Valley for the day today. Heading into the day tomorrow, we're building those thunderstorms across the southern plains and even up to the north as well. So we got some scattered rain for your Friday that continues to shift its way out to the east by Saturday, with temperatures looking pretty good, around 80 for a lot of the upper plains, but that rain moving towards the Ohio Valley.
Good Thursday morning to you. I'm meteorologist Chris Suchan. Our forecast today across the region, starting off a little bit of rain, South Texas and Oklahoma to Arkansas, showers and thunderstorms, a little bit of a severe risk as well. Notice the highs, 80s and 90s for most. El Paso 103. And then we head to Friday's forecast and still at risk for some storms in northern portions of the region, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Texas Panhandle. Otherwise, it's a little less active. And notice the temperatures just a little bit hotter.
Well, hi there and a happy Thursday morning to everybody. I'm meteorologist Shannon O'Donnell, hitting our summer stride, and that means a lot of heat just about everywhere out west. 70s out of Jackson Hole near Yellowstone thanks to some thunderstorms, and then just 60s due to the fog. The May gray turned into June gloom, and then, of course, lingers into July in San Francisco. But 113 in the Valley of the Sun in Phoenix today. Slow-moving front triggering some thunderstorms today near Denver. And that's the scene from here.
watching the National Weather Desk.
We all know that when we hear a tornado warning, we should immediately find a safe place. But as meteorologist James Spann explained, severe thunderstorms should be taken just as seriously.
These are strong straight-line winds, as recorded from a security camera from a severe storm passing through Gadsden, Alabama recently. And this is a reminder that you need to pay attention to severe thunderstorm warnings. No tornado here, but this is the damage done by straight-line winds. A good warning was issued in advance of this storm, a severe thunderstorm warning, which is the appropriate message. By definition, a severe storm must have either 58-mile-per-hour winds or greater, or hail 1 inch in diameter or larger. But with this type of damage, you need to be prepared and be in a safe place. So remember, tornado warnings, absolutely pay attention to those, but pay attention to severe thunderstorm warnings as well, because they are important.
And we love to share your weather content on the air. You can find us on all your favorite social media platforms, including Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Just search the National Weather Desk or scan the QR code on the bottom left of your screen. We'll be right back. And thank you so much for joining us. Tomorrow on the National Weather Desk, we'll explore water dangers and what you need to know to stay safe when visiting lakes and beaches. I'm Angela Brown. Make it a great Thursday, and we're going to see you right back here tomorrow.